Hello everyone, this is Alonso Garcia, your PSJA College Success Counselor, here bringing you an appeals workshop. We're going to go over what you can do to appeal a suspension at UTRGV if you encounter this situation. We'll start off first with the disclaimer. I want you to keep in mind, just because you submit an appeal doesn't mean you're guaranteed that it's going to be approved, but I will tell you this, that if you follow my advice, we have a 99.1% approval rate, so definitely stick around for the presentation and follow the recommendations, that way you can get that approved. So first things first, if you have missing documents, make sure you get those turned in. You can go into your Assist account and submit any financial aid forms. If they're asking for a tax transcript or official transcripts, definitely submit those to the financial aid office. Again, you can do that by logging into your Assist account and clicking on the financial aid tab, or you can contact the financial aid office. So when we're talking about suspensions, we're talking about satisfactory academic progress, also known as SAP. So you might be wondering, what is this? Basically, I did put it on the presentation on there, but basically it's the university making sure that they're following federal and state guidelines. Those guidelines are set in place so that the school can still continue to receive financial aid to award to students. So that's what it entails. So specifically for UTRGV, they're going to be monitoring three things: GPA, PACE, and maximum time frame. Again, this is for financial aid purposes. So UTRGV's minimum GPA is a 2.0 cumulative GPA. The completion rate, or also known as PACE, is passing 67% of all your courses attempted. And we'll talk about what that means. And last but not least, maximum time frame is talking about not exceeding a total of 180 credit hours. So what are attempted hours? Basically, what it comes down to is any classes that you're in after Census Day. After Census Day, if you're in a class, for example, you sign up for 6 hours. After Census Day, you are there for 6 hours. Let's say you stop going to a class or you don't pass it. At the end, you only pass 3 hours. Your attempted hours will be 6. This includes incomplete, withdrawals, and as well as unsatisfactory grades like an F or a no pass. Many of you took the pass no pass option this past semester. If you did take the no pass option, this will affect and this will count towards your attempted hours. Appeals process. So this is my recommendation, and this is the university's recommendation as well, in order to make it as easy and as fast as possible. First step is meeting with an academic advisor. Next is, if you do need an appeal, you're going to go ahead and write an appeal statement. And last but not least, you're going to submit the appeal and all the documents into the portal. Start off with the first one, appeals process, meeting with your advisor. This is really important no matter what. I recommend our PSJA alumni meet with their advisor every semester. This is your UTRGV advisor. You can find them in the Navigate app. And so for the purposes of the appeal, you're going to come up with an action plan, whether it's raising your GPA, whether it's increasing your completion rate, or whether it's finishing up your degree because of maximum time frame. Really important to do that and meet with your advisor. After you've done that, you're going to have a plan. You're going to know what you need to do. So if at that point you see that you do need a appeal, we proceed to the next step, which is completing or doing an appeal statement. So it's going to be a very short paragraph. It's about a 450-word paragraph or essay, where I recommend you put 3 main statements in there. The first one's going to be pretty short. It's basically going to talk about what circumstances led to the decline of your SAP status. So whether it was an automobile accident, maybe you had a natural event that caused. I've had some students that their house got flooded, so they missed class for a few times and they weren't able to make it. All those different things could be part of the circumstances. We'll talk a little bit of what are the allowed circumstances. Step number 2 would be the solution. how was the circumstance been resolved. So obviously, let's say the reason you couldn't make it to class, or the reason you failed was because your car broke down, your engine or your transmission went out, you didn't have a car to get to school with. So the solution would be, have you fixed the car? Okay, because the last thing the financial aid office and the university wants is they give you another opportunity. Come to find out your engine is still broken or your transmission is still broken and you still don't have transportation. So they don't want to do that. They don't want to put you in a bad situation. So what they want is, has your circumstance been solved? Has the problem been solved? And can you get to school and can you succeed? So that's what you would put in the second one. And the third part of it is going to be the goals and aspiration. You really want to express to the financial aid committee that you want to complete. I mean, at the end of the day, they want to ensure that whoever they give a second chance to really does want to complete school, really does want to continue, finish their classes, and get it done. They don't want somebody that maybe doesn't really want to complete. They're just kind of doing it because they're being forced to do it. So that's where you really want to reiterate and say, my goal is to graduate from UTRGV so I can complete my degree in whatever it is, and really express to them what it's going to mean for you to get that second chance and complete your appeal. So the other part of this appeal is going to be submitting any kind of documents that are basically reinforcing or backing up your situation. So if your car broke down, submitting some kind of receipt would be important, whether it's a mechanic receipt, if you fixed it yourself, some auto parts, the parts that you would have needed to fix your car, or maybe if your car got an accident, whether it got fixed. If you were sick, some kind of doctor's note that you were being treated would be something else. It doesn't have to be a diagnosis, just a matter of maybe the doctor can write, so and so was treated between this date and this date, something to support your statement. For maximum time frame, you would submit the maximum time frame form that's on the appeal portal. Your advisor can also help you with that. As far as hospital records, so again, if you were sick, if your close family member was sick, a parent or a child or yourself, some kind of hospital records. If you were in an accident, some kind of accident report, citation, basically something to support and back up whatever you were experiencing. Now, if for some reason you don't have access to any of these reports or any document supporting a letter of support from a professional, specifically a professor, a teacher, a counselor, a priest, somebody from the community, goes a long way. It shows the committee that you're serious about this, that you're serious about the appeal, and somebody that knows you and knows your character is is willing to put their professional word on paper and write a letter of support for you. So, definitely an option there. So if your appeal is approved, then you are placed on probationary status for the next semester. They're going to give you a set of guidelines. Some sample guidelines that I've seen them put on there is they'll put on there, pass all the classes with a 2.5, do not drop any classes, something to that effect. Some variations some things will vary on it, okay? So if you comply with those conditions, you might not have to appeal again. You might be able to raise your GPA. You might be able to raise your completion rate. And the next semester, you'll be back to normal, out of probation. You're good to go. If you don't comply with the conditions, you may be placed on suspension again. So it is a possibility on there. Either one of these, if you run into a situation, you need help, feel free to contact me or contact your advisor, and we can definitely guide you through it. So if your appeal is denied, and it is a possibility, you will not receive any financial aid for the coming semester or the semester you're applying for. You may be required to reappeal next semester. Oh, I'm going to add something else is if you do get if your appeal denied, feel free to contact me, and maybe you worded something wrong or worded something incorrectly, and we can maybe resubmit your appeal on the same semester. We might not have to wait the entire semester, okay? So something to keep in mind. So how to maintain SAP. So something that I really encourage you to do is to seek help, because sometimes we struggle through those classes. Sometimes it might be a bad professor, or it might be a tough class. Sometimes we need help, and regardless of what the situation was, I can guarantee you that these are some amazing resources that we have at UTRGV that are provided to you for no additional cost. So the Learning Center, awesome people. They are there to help you out. They're available to help you review, either whether it's an essay, whether it's a homework assignment. They have experts on there, especially for the core, especially for the English, math, science, social studies. You're going to have experts there. The other is tutoring, seeking out in-class tutoring. Some other students, or even graduate assistants will be able to help you with the tutoring services, as well as at the Learning Center, they have the tutoring services. Also consider creating an in-class student group. So a big part of when I took my graduate studies class, a big part was us creating our own groups and basically studying and doing our homework together, and having somebody to ask whether we're doing things wrong or right, or whether we understand the assignment correctly, can be very, very helpful. Okay. Also, the Writing Center, I also mentioned it earlier. And last but not least, definitely not least, is communicating with your professors. Go introduce yourself. Take a few seconds. It's not sucking up. It's not, anything. Go talk to them. They're real people. They're human beings. Go talk to them. Introduce yourself, so that if and when you have any issues, you have that line of communication open with them. Okay, so definitely take some time to go visit your professors, especially during office times, whether it's virtual, whether it's in person, some kind of contact, so they at least know your name. If you later on need their help, they're going to be more inclined to definitely help you out. Now, everything we've just talked about was talking about just regular financial aid. For most students, that's talking about the Pell Grant, that's talking about the student loans. For other programs such as scholarships or Texas Grant, you might have a different set of requirements. For example, Texas Grant, if you fall below a 2.5 GPA the second year, or don't complete 24 hours, then you might have to submit a similar appeal. So here are the requirements. Got a little bit ahead of myself. First year in college, I know we have our students that start off with 60 hours plus, but technically speaking, for financial aid purposes, that's your first year. All you need to do is meet the 2.0 GPA and pass 67% of your classes. That's it. After the first year in college, you need to have a 2.5 GPA and pass 24 hours between the fall, spring, and summer. So you can pass 12 hours in the fall, 12 hours in the spring. You're good to go. Okay. So the appeal portal is www.utrgv.edu/appeal. There you can complete the financial aid appeal. If your GPA was below a 2.0, you may need to do an academic appeal. Your advisor will ask your advisor, and they will tell you if you need to do one or not. And if you are on the Texas Grant and you need to submit an appeal for that too, it'll be on the same portal. Okay. So all of this can seem like a very complicated process, but it really isn't. It's very procedural. You can follow these steps, and the chances are that you will get approved. If you're having trouble figuring out, some aspects of this, you can always set up an appointment with me. You have my contact information in the email, or you know how to contact me with my email. You can always, or you can contact me on my website. But regardless, give this a try. Okay. Appeals, financial aid appeals, academic appeals are there because life happens. And the financial aid office, the federal government for financial aid, knows that stuff happens. Life happens. And just because you failed a class or a few classes, or all your classes for a particular semester, doesn't mean you have failed permanently or failed college. That's not what it means. We know that life happens. And so take this into account. Get this appeal done and submit it. And we have people to help you out here. I do recommend you go with your advisor, your academic advisor first. And then if you have questions or you need my support, I'm happy to help you out. But I do want you, it's one of those things where your academic advisor is one of the top people you want to be in contact with, because they're the experts of this. They're the experts for the university. And the other part of this is when they're looking at the appeal, they're going to see if you met with your advisor or not. So that's one of those things that really helps to meet with your advisor so you get that support. But any questions, feel free to contact me. But get this done. Meet with your advisor, submit the appeal if you need to. And again, I am here to help you out. Any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you and have a good one.